Thanks for tuning in to part 2 of our deep dive into Ferrari. In late 1943, Ferrari moved Autoavio Costruzione's workshop from Modena to Maranello after his factory was bombed by Allied forces. The end of the war brought additional changes for Enzo. No longer obligated to Alfa Romeo, and with a factory built in the newly established Republic of Italy, Enzo Ferrari set out designing and building the first race car to bear the name Ferrari. In 1947, the 12-cylinder Ferrari Tipo 125S rolled out of the Maranello factory. Driven by Franco Cortese, the car made its maiden race at the PIACENZA circuit on May 11, 1947, and won its first victory in the Rome Grand Prix 2 weeks later. The Tipo 125S went on to victories at the Mille Miglia in 1948 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1949 and the British Grand Prix in 1951. In 1952 and 1953, Ferrari driver Alberto Ascari won the World's Racing Championship. At the same time that Ferrari was becoming the most successful team in Formula One history, it also began producing cars for the road. Continued success throughout the 1950s would help drive sales, which would nearly triple by the end of the decade.
I'll take that one right there. She got to come.
Oh yes, she's very nice.
Such success would not be without personal losses suffered by Enzo and his family. In 1956, at the age of 24, Enzo's son Dino would pass away from Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Groomed by his father, Dino Ferrari had become an automotive engineer who was credited with the 750 Monza race car and a 1.5-liter double overhead cam V6 engine that he had developed with Hungarian engineer Vittorio Jano. The company's first 6-cylinder engine, also known as the Dino engine, was created to meet Formula 2's 1.5-liter regulation. To honor his son, Enzo would name the front-engine F2 race car the Dino 156. A convention to designate the 1.5-liter 6-cylinder engine. Although only one F2 race car was built, it would give birth to a whole series of V6-powered cars produced between 1967 and 1976 that would be associated with the Dino name. The death of their only son took a toll on Enzo's marriage to Laura Dominica Garello. As Enzo retreated from the company and Scuderia, Laura would take up a great role in the affairs of the company's daily activities. However, as she became more involved, her oversight of the company became increasingly heavy-handed.
You're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired.
Coming to a tipping point in 1961 when leading sales manager Girolamo Gardini voiced his opposition to Enzo in the form of an ultimatum. Now, Enzo's stubbornness and controversial management of the company had earned him the nickname Il Commendatore. His my way or the highway approach even extended to his customers. In the early 1960s, avid customer and tractor manufacturer Ferruccio Lamborghini confronted Enzo Ferrari about persisting problems with the clutch in his 250 GT. Ferrari is reported to have responded that the problem is not with the car, but with the driver.
No way!
According to Lamborghini test driver Valentino Balboni, Lamborghini took this as a challenge, which led Ferruccio to develop a competing car company. Given his dismissive nature towards others, when faced with the choice between his wife or Gardini, it is no surprise that Enzo sent Gardini on his way. However, this decision eventually resulted in the loss of the company's most prominent figures in an episode that has come to be known as the Night of the Long Knives, the Great Ferrari Walkout, or simply the Purge. It is unclear if they staged their departure or if they were dismissed by Enzo, but a number of designers and engineers that had formerly raised the company to prominence would no longer be part of Ferrari's future. Among them was sports car development chief Giotto Bizzarini, chief engineer Carlo Citti, and Scuderia manager Romolo Tovoni, who, with others, would leave Ferrari to found Automobili Turismo e Sport as a direct competitor to Ferrari in both racing and road vehicle production. Despite the loss of such important figures and what might have seemed like the end of the company, Ferrari went on to win 4 consecutive Le Mans races between 1962 and 1965, solidifying the company's dominance in racing.
A real Ferrari!
Punch me, Guido. Punch me in the face. This is the most glorious day of my life.
It also won various drivers and constructors titles during this period, and Ferrari road cars were increasingly recognized as being among the world's best as production more than doubled. By nearly every metric, Ferrari was emerging as the car company to beat. However, in 1966, Ferrari's dominance in racing was threatened when Ford's GT40 Mark IIs finished 1, 2, 3. The following year, Ferrari would finish in second and third places, behind Ford's new GT40 Mark IV. By the end of the decade, Porsche would join the list of serious competitors challenging Ferrari's dominance. Amid the rising cost of competition, Enzo would sell half of the company to Fiat. Although the early 1970s saw numerous challenges, Ferrari enjoyed several world championship wins in 1975, 1977, and 1979. However, the 1980s brought a period of crisis. Despite managing just 2 Formula One constructors titles in 1982 and 1983, Ferrari also produced several history-making cars during this time, including the 288 GTO, the Testarossa in 1984,
A Ferrari! Testarossa! Magna PIB, baby! This is incredible! It's a fantasy for everybody!
and the F40 in 1987, which would be Enzo Ferrari's final car. As the decade drew to a close, the company would experience its largest blow with the passing of its founder on August 14, 1988. Having devoted his entire life to motor racing, Enzo Ferrari had raised the Scuderia Ferrari from a small stable of racers to an internationally recognized factory racing team, which had for most of its history set the bar in Formula One racing. In a field where the loss of a figurehead often means the end of racing, less than a decade after Enzo's death, Ferrari was able to stage a comeback and regain its dominance in Formula One. In addition to those created under Enzo's tenure, Ferrari continues to produce some of the most highly regarded automobiles, recognized the world over for quality and prestige. Thanks for watching. Make sure to click subscribe, comment, and like for more videos like this one.